Welcome back, YouTubers, to our TNA Hardcore Justice review of us, those boys from Britain that talk about pro wrestling. It's the British Fist.
Catching!
Mr. Parkin here, NJ, of course, sitting next to me as usual.
What's up?
I thought you were going to sneeze there, NJ. Subscribe above, like this video, and comment any thoughts you have on this show, Hardcore Justice pay-per-view, in the comment section below.
I'll make sure you contact us in the link below.
Yes, indeed. That includes Twitter as well. Daniel_Parkin, NJ17, British Fist.
Yeah.
So let's get straight onto this Hardcore Justice review, ignoring any Terminator NJ bollocks right now. Let's just do a normal review without any of that. We opened up the card with Kid Cash and Gunner versus Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez, Mexican America version 2. This is the right opener.
It was the right opener because this has not got the greatest of importance because they didn't make it a tag team contendership. They just made it Chavo's pay-per-view match. And it was okay. We knew what was coming because obviously they weren't going to really make Chavo lose to Kid Cash or Gunner. So this match went down pretty well. Good moves from Chavo, so I can't really complain on how this match opened the show.
It was the right opener. It probably had the least important build of what we've had. They're basically establishing Chavo and Hernandez as a tag team, so for them to get the victory here was the right victory. It went about 9.5 minutes. It was a pretty average opener, but still did its job in getting a new tag team over in Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez. So I guess they'll probably contend for the titles next, probably. And
we'll get more to the tag champs later.
Indeed. After that, we had the Bound for Glory series Falls Count Anywhere match. Pope, well, we had RVD, Magnus and Mr. Anderson, and then what happened? The Aces and Eights got Pope.
Pope, you pathetic mortal. You're not worthy of the Bound for Glory series, so I had to take you out. He did it again, didn't he?
How does he infiltrate our videos?
I don't know, he's sitting right here doing a review for you guys, then all of a sudden...
I mean, the Aces and Eights can break the security, but how the hell does Terminator NJ break security here when we're in front of the camera? It doesn't make sense.
Maybe he should just do the review on his own.
Oh, fuck it. Let's just ignore Terminator NJ like TNA are ignoring the Aces and Eights right now, and let's get onto this four-way, what turned into a triple threat match because the Aces and Eights got Pope, and it was a pretty decent match in my opinion. You know, just really, they used the gimmick well. They went outside the ring a lot. They had some pretty decent spots in there. I just don't understand why RVD gets the win, the 20 points. What's the point of this moment in time in giving RVD any kind of Bound for Glory series win?
No, I look at this, and it was a very good match for the three of them. They all had their own little spots here and there. They go to the ramp, go in there, and it comes to this good spot when everyone's getting a little run in.
Yeah.
But they give the win to Rob Van Dam, and I'm looking at this thinking, Rob Van Dam's a guy that doesn't really want to put people over. But Anderson, great guy, entertaining, could have done with the point. Magnus, he was there. He's not had many matches to prove that he's been there, but he was there.
You could say RVD winning was pointless, but unfortunately, he won 20 points, so you can't even say it's pointless. We'll move on to the next match. Devon versus Kazarian. In a sort of random TV title match. I guess this did have a kind of a little bit of building when they didn't announce it. They had that tag match where Kazarian used the belt to get the victory on Devon. I guess that was their own little way of building to this. But it was basically just an added to the card at the last minute match, really, for the TV title.
I look at this and really didn't... I knew who was going to win, in my opinion, just because they've got a tag champ there who's got probably a feud coming up later on. He can't really have both belts to do something. So I really saw this as a simple match, but at the same time, random as it was, it didn't do much for the pay-per-view, and I just don't really care so much for it.
The match was alright, it's just that I didn't care for it. So Devon going over, does that mean him and Bully Ray have re-signed contracts? I sure as hell hope it does, because they gave Bully Ray the win later. But again, a match on the pay-per-view that we really didn't care about. The TV title generally gives us those kind of matches. At least it wasn't Devon versus Robbie E. Devon was actually in there with a guy that could work in Kazarian.
Very true.
Miss Teschmacher versus Madison Rayne for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Oh god. You know, this whole El Hebner thing, why don't TNA's booking team just say to themselves, well logically, why don't we just, I don't know, get another referee that's going to have a fair and impartial refereeing decision? Obvious.
This match, I was going into this match thinking, yes, he's the referee. I'm hoping there's a swerve like he turns on Madison Rayne when Madison Rayne doesn't give him what he wants. But instead of going down that route, it goes exactly the way that Madison Rayne wanted it. So this is what I'm seriously hoping. In the rematch, it goes back to Tess, ends this stupid thing, and it goes back to Tess going on towards Mickie James or Tara.
Why do they give the title to Madison Rayne? I mean, if they had a great champion in Brooke Tetcher, or Miss Tetchmark, as she's known, thanks to Brooke Hogan. She had all this momentum, and then you give the title to Madison Rayne. I know it was because of the referee bullshit, but what the fuck, TNA? Why are you giving the belt to a talentless bitch like Madison Rayne?
And what big matches are you going to give us in the future? Because Madison Rayne's not really someone we want to see put on big matches because you can't do it.
Just don't understand why they had Madison Rayne when the match wasn't really even that good, really, in my opinion. So we'll just move on from that.
And while we're saying this, Dan, I'm going to keep my back to this chair.
Oh, okay, go on then, do it. Bully Ray versus James Storm versus Jeff Hardy versus Robbie E. in a tables match for the Bound for Glory series. 20 points. Basically, we kind of had the tease from the Aces and Eights that they were gonna be in this match to get Bully Ray, and the match itself. I think at this point in time, we really needed something to really push the pay-per-view a little bit, didn't we? Because at this point, it was kind of like, the first hour really wasn't that good. So this match really did need to pick up the pace a little bit, and I feel it did with the people involved. Some good psychology with them moving the tables. Bully Ray gets the win.
This was quite surprising because throughout the match, you had them all doing their spots.
Oh, yeah.
Even Robert E teamed with Bully Ray to add stuff to it. But in the end, it did come to a way where the Ace and Eights were putting their thumbs up at James Storm, really make us believe that they were helping him. But by the end, he couldn't get the job done as Bully Ray got the win here.
Don't understand why the Aces and Eights just didn't come in and attack Bully Ray, but I'm glad that Bully Ray got the victory. The Aces and Eights giving the thumbs up to James Storm, that's going to, fuel that fire with regards James Storm being the possible leader of the Aces and Eights. Just surprised they didn't storm the ring and try and attack them or anything. Just seemed a little bit surprising.
It could have done sort of, when you see Bully Ray about to win or someone else about to win like Jeff Hardy, you do expect them to do more attack. So I'm a bit disappointed in the way they used the Aces and Eights tonight, but overall, Bully Ray won without the Aces and Eights doing anything. I'm glad and not glad about that.
I guess you could say it's just that they had minimal involvement in the match and it was trying to not affect the flow of the match too much. I don't really know. But this was the match which I think really kick-started the pay-per-view a little bit. After this, the matches were pretty good. The first 4 matches, in my opinion, really didn't give us that much. But this was one of those matches that at least gave us something and let the flow of the pay-per-view go a little bit faster and be a little bit more enjoyable, as we had the Zema Iron versus Kenny King TNA X Division Championship match next. I'm glad this was higher up on the card and not a fucking curtain jerker.
That's true. I look at this match and think it definitely deserves a higher place, but the sad thing, in my opinion, is an X Division match. Kenny King's in it. He goes for the belt. Spots he could win, but I don't think this was as good as we've seen him perform previously.
I think it was because of the time it got. It was probably his best match in TNA right now because, let's face it, he hasn't had that many matches. But Kenny King is still over. I mean, you can't deny that. There was a few sloppy moments in this match. I'm not really surprised that Zema Iron got the win. In my opinion, these two had a pretty good match. It went at about 11 minutes, so it was good, I thought, for what it was.
But the fact they got a clean finish, I weren't expecting a cheaty way to finish, but it looked like Kenny King, the guy who we want to see become the X Division champion, has had his title match, lost it, and now it's a chance for Irons to move on and Kenny King to keep building himself up. So anyway, I'm happy for this, but then I wanted more of a rematch or more future matches for Kenny King.
You mean you wanted to make them some kind of feud out of it?
Basically? More of a feud, that is the best way of putting it.
I feel Kenny King is a cog in the Jesse Sorensen versus Zema Iron feud, which is probably why they made him lose it. They'll probably have someone else like Sanjay Dutt face him next and beat Zema Iron, and have Zema Iron beat Sanjay Dutt to further that storyline. Who really knows? We're interested to see what they do for the X Division Championship at Bound for Glory. Maybe a 4-way of some kind? Who knows?
It's just a bit of a shame they're using a new talent to their business to progress a new storyline. Why not use someone that's been there a while just so you're not affecting the rise of Kenny King?
Indeed. We'll go on to the semi-main event, which, no surprisingly, was Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles versus Daniels in a ladder match for 20 Bound for Glory series points. Must admit, considering the 4 people in there and the matches they've had with each other in various different types of singles and triple threat matches, I was really looking forward to this one, and I felt it was a pretty damn good match in my opinion.
It's one of my favourites because the way this match went, you had Samoa Joe on the mic before the match. The others you didn't really get to hear from before the match, which was a bit disappointing when you've got 4 in the match, not just 1. But Samoa Joe definitely hyped up this match, said how he's going to get these 20 points and be at the top of the leaderboard. So when you're watching this match, obviously you're going to keep your eye on him to see if he can back up what he said.
I mean, obviously, these guys have great chemistry in the ring. There was a couple of spots in there, a couple of fail spots with the muscle buster German suplex. That was a bit off, and AJ Styles looked like he took a bit of a nasty bump outside. But got to hand it to the guys. For 16 minutes they were out there. They tore the house down, in my opinion.
This definitely had the match to watch out for, because it had the 4 great wrestlers that are obviously the future and at the point in their careers at the top of TNA's leadership. So this match was definitely worth watching. Very nicely done. Gave us the spots we wanted to see. And the win at the end, yes, Samoa Joe had the whole surprise look as AJ picked up the win.
Yeah, AJ basically got the victory out of nowhere by jumping on the ladder, grabbing the points. Interesting that they had AJ Styles go over here, really, in my opinion. But hell, I guess it was a surprise. Also funny how all the faces were beating on Daniels all the time. It's like, man, Daniels has been an entertaining guy lately. No need to bury him that much. My God.
Very true. The 2 things I want to say is that AJ picking up the win when he's got a feud with Daniels was a surprise. As you could see, it's completely different to our predictions. Daniels in this match, he did his old cocky heel, like, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was very good, and I really like this match. The winner, no complaints, it's Mr. TNA, but it should have been maybe given to someone that could have...
higher up the table.
Yes, probably.
Pretty much. So from that BFG series match, we go on to our main event. Now, this was always going to be an important match, really, in my opinion, because it was going to show us who was going to be champion going into Bound for Glory, what direction they were going to have for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and maybe Rude versus Storm. And we soon found out. Bobby Roode versus Austin Aries for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Again, another really good main event between these two, I thought.
This match definitely went down as the match went on as a pretty solid match. You could tell how good these two work well together. The only problem I had is that Roode is going back to his really first ways at the beginning, he chicken shits his way out the match. And I'm really disappointed with that, because we saw progression Roode as he comes to be this top heel in the company. Now he's like backtracking, in my opinion. And Aries, on the other hand, he's stuck to his character. He's stuck to being a champion and wanting to get one over on Roode again.
Yeah, and this match got a lot of time as well. I mean, it told a very good story in the ring, in my opinion. Were 2 ref bumps necessary in this match? I'm not really sure, but this led to an ending which I guess a lot of people will probably have different opinions over. You had the double pin with the referees, then they restart the match as Aries dives to the floor and basically hits Roode, who has the belt in his hand. But Aries kicks out and gets the roll-up win. I guess you could say some kind of fluke win, which plays to the story. But your thoughts on the way they finished the match? Because I really thought that it kind of added a little bit to the drama of the match, but I know you didn't like it too much.
No, they were trying to do too much this match. They could have cut it a lot more simpler by the end. They had the 2 referee bumps. They had, as I said earlier, Roode going out all the time. They had the Roode and the match getting restarted for the ending bit. And the quick roll-up. The roll-up I can look past, because it's going to continue the feud again with the FLUKE and how it's done.
Well,
but
they haven't got a rematch, have they?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, in a way, it still ended in a fluky way. It's over. And, I don't know, they did too much to try and make this match have some kind of important ending. Too much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say there was a tad overbooking. I kind of felt the way the match restarted added a little bit to the drama of the match, which is what I think was... they needed to do something different from what they did at Destination X, or else it would have just been the same old match. And they did do that in dribs and drabs, in my opinion. I'll just say I did enjoy this main event. Probably not quite as much as Destination X, but I still did think it was a very good main event. And I kind of expected it between Bobby Roode and Austin Aries, to be honest.
If we altered the ending, I would definitely say that this was definitely a great pay-per-view match for the end of this pay-per-view. Yes.
Yeah, it got a lot of time as well, 27 minutes. I was quite surprised. To be honest, going into the last sort of 45 minutes, they did need this to go a long time, didn't they? And it did.
I definitely looked at the time and thought, wow, this is going to get plenty of time. And with these two, you do expect it, especially when they didn't get the main event in the Go-Home show. So to give them their good spot, their good focus, the longest match on the card, this, very nicely done.
Thank God there was no aces and eights as well. I will just say that. Your overall thoughts on this pay-per-view then, NJ?
Going into it, I had hopes because the matches were looking pretty good. As the pay-per-view went on, my liking just switched off. But when it came to the important matches, the match that TNA wanted to focus on, wanted to go down well, even though I thought they all were meant to be important, but like the Bound for Glory ones and the main event, they did their justice.
I felt that the first 4 matches, it was a contrast of 2 halves, really. The first 4 matches, in my opinion, weren't really that interesting, didn't really give us much. But then the final 4 matches, which were the 4 big matches, I guess you could say, delivered in one way or another, in my opinion. So it's a hard one to judge, really. The first 4 just really, that weren't that important, really just weren't very good. And then the 4 that were important did deliver, in my opinion. So I'll give this like a B- or something. It wasn't like a great entertaining pay-per-view or anything, but I wouldn't say it was a terrible show because of the last 4 matches.
And I think with the importance of some of the matches we got, and then how they swerved stuff, missed stuff out, the weird endings of matches, I'm not going to be that generous. I just didn't enjoy as much as I was hoping for, so I'm going to give it a C+, going towards a C, because I just felt things could be done differently.
Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. Like we always say, thank you very much for watching this video. And yes, to provide you with a typical British Fist outro, it's none other than Mr. NJ sitting here.
Well, thank you very much, people. This has been a pay-per-view that we were looking forward to. Hopefully you were looking forward to. Share your thoughts on the good, the bad, and the ugly in the comment section below. And all I can say now is tune in for WWE's Go Home show. And until next time, YouTubers. So, what are we doing tonight?
Oh,
Goodbye.